Just your average everyday trucker, keeping it real. I'm your host, Chris Blodgett, and you're listening to Real Talk Tuesday. Today's topic is going to be persistence and gratitude. This is episode 103. Once again, guys, welcome. Appreciate you being here. The inspiration for today's topic, there's two parts to the topic, persistence and gratitude. Persistence, mainly the reason why that is part of tonight's topic is basically I'm always preaching that you got to be consistent. We all have dreams, we all have goals that we're working towards, and I know there's a lot of people out there, unfortunately, that will basically, just expect that it's going to happen. Like, hell, I have people when I'm trying to do my, different business posts on Facebook and whatnot, where I'm trying to, I'm actively trying to work towards the goals and dreams I have. And I'll have people that'll either message me on Messenger, and I've had people go to my business page, my business website, and put their email in there, and get directed to my website and stuff like that. And they'll get the email from me or whatever, and they'll reply back. And I've had some emails that actually where they message me and basically want me to basically send the money. And it's like, hey, help me, send me money, or let me get the program for free. And I'm like, you try to, but well, there's like payment plans. Like, that's the best I can do. I can't just give you $900. Like, what the heck, You're trying to trick me. It's like, no, I'm actually trying to do a legitimate thing here. So, too many people out there, unfortunately, that they're basically just looking for an easy way. Like, they want to get ahead, but they don't want to do the work, And then they want to complain and say that basically talk down on people who are actually actively trying to do it, And when they do get ahead, when those people are actually, let's say they've succeeded, they've got their business off the ground, they're making really good money, then it's, well, it must be nice. It's like, well, yeah, it is. But so the people that are at that point have put in a lot of work to get to that point. So I'm not to that point yet. I'm still working on it. But I do know people that are actually making quite a bit online, but they've been doing stuff online for the past 7 years, actively building different income streams and whatnot. Got a little tongue tied there for a second, but it's like I've only been doing it. I mean, technically I've been at it for 7 years too, but I haven't, I've been trying to figure it out for 7 years. Back like 2017, 18, 19, roughly, you know. So it's been like 7 years, you know, a little bit longer, you know, because I think since like 2014 or 15, I've technically been trying to figure out, okay, how can I, you know, like start something else that will basically, I think since, yeah, it's been like, I think I was still living in PA technically when I was trying to, I was, you know, looking online and trying to figure out how I might be able to start something to where it'll give me the option to be home and be with the fam, you know, instead of having to, you know, leave and go to work, you know, like actually do something from home. And unfortunately back then there really was, especially pre-COVID, there really wasn't a whole lot of opportunities to work from home even as regular jobs go. But nowadays with COVID, you know, having been through the COVID, you know, shutdown and all that stuff, now, you know, there's a lot of jobs that you can actually like do remotely or whatever. I would do them, but most of them that I've come across actually don't pay anywhere near what I'm currently making, doing what I'm currently doing. So I stay out here doing this, but if I can find something paying enough and it made sense, I would be like, you know, because I've already got a computer, just have to set up a desk at home, whatever. I would do it, you know. But I also don't want to go from one job and then go switch to another job and still be working 8, 10, 12-hour days and, you know, still be not necessarily hanging out with the fam. I'd still be working, you know. I've always been even back since when I started trucking, technically I was an independent contractor for most of that time, where I was, you know, doing a lease purchase on a truck, trying to pay a truck off, trying to actually be an independent, and, you know, so for a while I've had that entrepreneurial spirit. When I got ready to say that word, I thought, here we go. I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to get that word out without struggling with it, you know, entrepreneurial, you know. It's like, say that 10 times fast, right? So I've been looking for a while, trying to figure things out, and I know I'm still not there, but I'd say my current spot where I've got that, you know, the Legacy Builder program with all 4 of those programs, at the website, got the email list, you know, doing lives every day, or not every day, but for a while I was doing, for like 3 months that I've been a part of it, I was doing, you know, 3 short pieces of content, like 15 seconds to a minute and a half, and then do it live, and then share that live to a lot of groups on Facebook, and then, you know, saving that video to my phone, uploading that video to my YouTube channel, kind of like as a replay, one of those where you see like webinar replays, kind of doing it like that, because I would do it on TikTok, but I don't like that TikTok lives basically disappear once you're done. Like, they don't, it's not a video that people will see afterwards. So I'm kind of hesitant to go live on TikTok just to have it basically gone, because, you know, what if people aren't on my live when I'm doing it? So I'd rather go live on Facebook and then just share that live to YouTube, and then share that live to Twitter, and LinkedIn, and my blog, and whatever else, you know, just kind of. But since the trip, I know that's part of why I know I haven't done a story in a couple weeks, and I apologize. And I'm trying to get back, you know, try to get things figured out and get back in the groove. That's why I've been trying to at least do the Real Talk Tuesday episodes, so I'm not, you know, just gone. You know, I don't want to go anywhere, but, you know, I've had that, you know, you get in that funk where, like, you're working really hard towards your goals, and it might not be happening as fast as you want it to happen. And so you're struggling to stay motivated. You're just like, man, like, it doesn't help that when you're doing something and you're seeing other people that are doing the same thing, but of course they've been doing it for 7 years, and they're like posting about, I made $2,000 today, I made $5,000 today, I made $1,500 today, I made 100-something thousand in the last 6 months. It's like, you know, it's discouraging, because you're looking at that going, well, I'm doing the exact same thing you guys are doing. The only difference is they've been, you know, building their network a lot longer, so of course they may not be necessarily going through the steps that people like myself are doing now, because they have a huge following, so they're just able to post anything and get like 10 people come in there and basically buy what they're offering. So it's all they have to do is basically just recruit, and they're making money, you know. So The rest of us, like me, that are brand new, were having to like go through the app. Like we started, they started the business with a huge following, so they were able to make, you know, a lot of money right off the bat. Whereas beginners, we started and we're growing our following, you know, growing our email list, and we're doing the grunt work. We're actually starting at the very beginning, growing from nothing. And we might get a sale or two here or there, but we're not getting anywhere near where the big people are, you know, the big accounts. And a lot of us quit, sadly. You know, a lot of people will start and do like kind of what I've been doing, and they just eventually they you know, might do it for a while and they walk away and like, yeah, it's not like, obviously this isn't gonna work. I had one of my people that came in there and did the legacy builder. Like that was one of my sales. My first week was that $900 legacy builder. Literally woke up to while I was asleep, or you know, woke up to it after I was asleep, and I was like, holy crap! I just made $900. That's awesome. She, you know, good friend, you know, but she probably, I don't even think she's got her website up, but she started doing her website and getting help with her daughter. She's a little bit older, and I guess her daughter is the one that has the computer, and I think she was working on getting her website up, and I think she just stopped. Like you know, and I'm like, you paid $900 to not do anything. Come on now. So it's like once you get your site up, then you just market it. You know, you start doing the work, go through, put in the hour or two a day. But you know, and it's not hard per se. It's just you got to commit to it. That's why all the stuff that I'm always you know, talking about or whatever, I'm always preaching. You gotta be consistent with it. You gotta do daily consistent action, and you know, because you can't show up one day and put in some work towards your goals, whether it's working out or whether it's your business or whether it's, you know, trying to reconnect, like to build a relationship with people that you lost connection with, like maybe you haven't seen like your siblings for a while, and you know, you guys are close anymore. I can kind of argue that with my siblings, because like even my brother that I do have somewhat contact with, because we're connected on Facebook. My other brother hates my guts, like completely disowned me a little while back. You know, something that didn't even have anything to do with him. He was pissed at me about something that happened. It happened between me and my parents. Me and my parents have since worked it out and we're cool. But my other brother kind of, I can't believe you treated mom and dad like that, blah, 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 fuck you. Okay, wow, all right. I was like, mom and dad and I we're good. Like, this has nothing to do with you. Like, why do you? So I was like, all right, whatever. So, haven't talked with him for a while. My sister that's just the next younger than me, 2 years younger, 3 years younger. Haven't heard. Literally, I have not seen or heard from her in probably at least, I would say, 14 years probably. My sister, younger than her, I've seen her a couple times when I've gone out to visit my parents, and she's been there, and that's pretty cool. But of course, again, never contacted by her either. And then my youngest sister, I thought we were close. You know, I thought we were actually gonna be closer, because I went out and visited and with the fam. I had my 2 kids, had the grandkid with me, and she was there. We did a lot of playing on the Switch, one of those games called Splatoon. Pretty awesome game. And she pushed me pretty hard to like, you need to buy the game. Like right now, that I can't buy it, right now. But my next paycheck when we get back, I'll go ahead and I'll buy it. Well, we'll connect. That way we'll play with you from there. And she was like, yeah, it sounds great. Got home, literally bought like 2 copies of the games, because with the Switch, you know how you can't just have one copy on one system and use that copy on multiple devices. You have to have a separate account for each one, which kind of sucks. But I did it. I bought 2 games and got them installed on the Switch that I used. We have 2 lights, and we have a regular. So I had one of the lights I was using for myself. I had installed that. I had the other one installed on one of the other devices. Reached out to my sister basically and was like, hey, Maddie, so hey, let me send me your friend code so we can add you on our accounts over here. That way we can play. Like, I've never been able to get in touch with her since. You know, like, so I'm like, oh, right. I don't know what's up with my family, but hey, you know how it is. It is what it is. You know, it's like you can't, you know, it's stuff that we just kind of out of your control, you know? And so I'm like, you know what? It's like, that's why I'm kind of like, you know what? I'm not really looking forward to, like, it's going to suck. My parents are older, they're in their 70s. So I'm like, really not looking forward to when something happens to one of them, you know, and hopefully in the next, you know, hopefully not anytime soon. Hopefully they have, you know, 20 more years. But I really worry about, you know, something happening to one of my parents and then all the family wanting to gather, you know, for the memorial or whatever. And like, I would probably just want to like not show up for that, but show up after the family leave and hang out with my remaining parent, you know, to support them, you know, because I don't necessarily want to see my whole family because it's like they haven't made any effort with me at all in a while. It's like I'm a firm believer in making time and effort for those that make time and effort for you, you know? Like if somebody, I mean, obviously it depends, because like I have friends in high school, like the guy that I would consider my best friend, James Hopkins. If you come across this podcast, this episode, man, love you, man. You know, love to, you know, eventually be able to free up time, you know, with the things that I'm working on, not have to work as hard, be able to travel and actually come out and see you, because I know it's been quite a few years. Hell, I still have that photo on my phone from when I was stopping through, you know, where you were living at the time, and I was stopping through at a truck stop, and we went and had dinner, and then we went and watched, I think it was Avengers, back during one of the beginning parts, one of the beginning movies, you know, way back when, but yeah, you know, so it depends, because guys like my friend James, I know that literally I could go visit him and we would hang out and it would be like, you know, like old times, you know. But situations like my immediate family, for instance, you know, my siblings, yeah, it's just, you know, I don't know, because it's like, okay, we're family, we're brothers and sisters or whatever, and yet like they have contact with each other, but I don't hear from them, you know. Like on occasion we'll get happy birthday and stuff for my parents, and I think for my brother that I have on Facebook, that I'm connected with him and his fam, you know, his wife and kids or whatever. But the rest of my family, my 3 younger sisters, my other brother, you know, not so much. So I was like, all right. So I'm like, you know what? Like, it's one of those things. Like, I'm not gonna put the effort in. You know, depending on the person. Again, if they're not, you know, if they're not putting it, like, that's why I guess it means more. That's more geared towards like if you have siblings and brothers, sisters, family, whatever, they're actually family and they're not making an effort with you, then yeah, you know. Friends, you could be friends and not have anything to do with each other for a couple years because you guys have completely separate lives. They have this kind of schedule and you have that kind of schedule. And, you know, it's fine because, you know, you're going to come back together eventually. Because, I mean, it was weird. My friend James, he, I don't know, it was probably a couple weeks ago. He posted on my wall on Facebook. Didn't message me in Messenger, which I thought was interesting, but he doesn't really do much on Facebook, it looks like. So I got a message, like said, James posted it, or mentioned you in a post. I'm like, huh. I went and looked at, hey buddy, thought I'd check it. Like, how are you doing? It's been a while, just checking on you. And I replied back, I was like, I'm doing okay, how are you, man? You know, hope you're doing well. You know? I don't know if he saw that, because again, he's not on Facebook that much. So like, I'd love to know what's going on in his life. How he's doing. Hell, I'd love to be able to actually be living near him and be able to actually have somebody that I would want to hang out with. You know, somebody, you know, that I know personally, that I've known for a while. We have friends in Nashville that I really, you know, they meet a lot. There's our friend Amanda. I don't hear from her often, but every so often we'll hang out. We got a friend that goes by the name of Willow. That he comes over, and really appreciate him. He's been somebody that he's pretty much yeah, he's pretty cool guy. And actually, I got a story about that too, because last weekend, since I was trying to think, I was like, wait a minute, this past Real Talk Tuesday episode, you guys didn't hear about what happened this past weekend. Because you guys know part of the little frustration I have with my job is back and forth, working days, then working nights, then working days, then working nights. Like, literally my run is supposed to leave between 2 and 3 in the afternoon, and usually get back 1 or 2 in the morning. I can get back probably by like midnight, but usually after I swap with the other team, with the team up in the team from Minnesota. A lot of times I'll take my time coming back. Like, I might make a stop or two on the way back. Stop and grab a bite, or whatever. Because I'm like, hey, I'm not in a hurry. But so usually I do that. That's supposed to be what I'm doing right now tonight. That's usually my normal, supposed to be what I'm doing normally. But ever since me and my daughter we went to Oklahoma and brought the Buick back, like 4 months ago, things have changed. I don't know why, but for a while I didn't do my route at all. I was doing other stuff for like 2 months. I was doing what they called standby at night, where I'd basically be waiting till like 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, not hearing crap, and asking my boss, so what, are we working tonight? What's going on? Oh yeah, I'm trying to find out. And then, I started I was being told for months, like, hey, you're gonna get back in here, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do it full time, as of this date. It was, it's gonna be full time, back on free at this date. Oh, back on the 1st. Oh, back from the 10th to the 17th. Oh, and like, we're working on such and such, FedEx this, FedEx that. Okay, I take everything, most of the excuses I hear kind of with a grain of salt, because I'm like, whatever. I feel like I'm being lied to, but I'm not going to call them out. I'm trying to call them out a little bit, like the other day when, actually, it might have been last week. I had mentioned something, because of course I had one or 2 days doing my normal run, and the rest of the week I did, Chattanooga or whatever. And I asked him, I said, so what's the deal, man? Because you've been telling me for months I'm gonna be back at Farina full time. It's gonna be this date, it's gonna be that date, it's gonna be the 1st, it's gonna be, now it's the 10th, now it's this date. Well, it's because FedEx does this, we've had to shift our drivers around, whatever. And I'm going, okay, whatever. I was like, then why are you shifting me off my run though? Like, if you have other guys that you're shifting to my run to have you run the night runs, why don't you shift them to the night runs? Well, we can't put night drivers on, or day drivers on night runs, because then they won't be able to run the day run. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not technically an overnight driver. I'm a late driver. I'm not a morning driver. But I'm not a graveyard. I told them when I got hired, I'll work late till like 3, 4, or 5 in the morning. I said, but I do not want to work all night. And yet there's been a lot of shifts since, they switched whatever, telling me, oh, your load's running at 9 a.m. now, that's why you're not on it. Like, that's not true, because the team that I meet up with literally says they never get there any earlier than 7 p.m., so they are earlier than they once was, but it's not morning shift. I have a feeling they just want, there's, maybe his assistant wanted more, for whatever reason, wanted to be running my route for a while, and so I'll be putting other stuff, but working nights kind of, it's been affecting my health a little bit, with some days I end up getting home and not sleeping at all until later on because I have stuff to do. And then you get sick, so it's kind of what, last week I did Chattanooga, I think Thursday and Friday nights. Saturday I was coming in, was told, 9 o'clock, be at Nashville, you're going to do Lebanon to Knoxville and Kodak combo. I was like, okay. So I get in and I'm getting loaded. and actually, I probably didn't. I might have told. Okay, so you guys might have already, because I might have did that. I might have told you about that for the Real Talk Tuesday, I guess. I might have mentioned that part at least. So Sunday morning, you know, I get back, and I hope I did tell you about the whole, you know, the going to. I might not have, but to give you a little rundown, just in case I didn't mention it in last week's episode. Basically, I came in and they told me, "Hey, you're gonna be going to Lebanon, and then Knoxville, Kodak, and then back to Nashville." Okay, pretty easy night. You know, you drop the 2 trailers, grab 2 empties, head straight back to Nash. I had to get the car that got vandalized. I've been trying to fix up to get so my oldest daughter could have a mode of transportation. She can drive herself to work, Uber. And trying to get that fixed up, but it got vandalized, tire slash, windshield, back window, and all that. Yeah, it was pretty bad. But so I was supposed to, because it was gonna get towed out of the complex. So I was trying to arrange to put that in storage short term, so that way it's summer safe, so that I could then have time to actually like put money aside to actually do what I have to do to fix that car. And so I had that all set up. I hadn't actually arranged it yet and paid for it, but I had talked to somebody at that storage place, like literally half a mile away from us. They have a fence around them. They have gates. You have to put a code in to get in. You know, so it's like nice, safe, secure location. So my plan was, knowing that, okay, I'm working, working at 9 p.m. I thought, well, maybe I'll get back by like 6. So get back by like 6. Sorry, I had to just yawn. And go to sleep, get up at like 1 or 2, get up, go rent a U-Haul trailer to tow a car, get that car up on the trailer behind my truck, tow it down the street, get it stored, drop off the trailer, and then, either come back, because my daughter's gonna have to work that afternoon, so I figured it was gonna have to be on grandson duty, and so I get in and I'm picking up that load, and when I'm picking up that load, they call me from Lion-Haul and say, "Oh, by the way, like, we already talked to Jimmy about it, and basically we're gonna have to send you back here after Knox and Kodak. You're gonna come back here and you're gonna do a Clarksville and Nashville combo." And I said, "Oh, great, okay." So I'm looking at it going, well, that's a lot of stops. I'm gonna be working pretty late. It sucks. My boss texted me, "Oh, by the way, I don't know if they told you, but you're gonna do a Clarksville Nashville combo." I was like, okay. I was like, "Yeah, boss, I'm a little concerned about that because I have shit I have to do tomorrow, and now it's gonna be a really late night." Never heard back or whatever, which I didn't expect it, So literally, to give you guys a kind of a rundown, it was literally Nashville to Lebanon to Knoxville to Kodak, back to Lebanon, then to Clarksville, then to Nashville. So what is that like? So after, they're not even counting going to Nashville first, because I had to come in to get the truck. So Lebanon, Knoxville, Kodak, Lebanon, Clarksville, Nashville. So not counting the first Nashville, that's 6 stops. And that's with 2 trailers at each stop, 2 trailers and a dolly. So you're talking 12, 12 freaking trailers. Then, well, thankfully it was a little bit less, because two of those stops, I was just dropping 1 trailer and then leaving with the front trailer and the dolly to go to the next spot. Dropping both, then setting up 2 empties, come back to Lebanon, drop both the empties, set up the dolly in front of one of the loaded trailers, and then set the other loaded trailer in front of the dolly, get everything hooked up, and then take that rear trailer, drop that rear trailer to Clarksville, and then, and the dolly, because they didn't want me to take the dolly from Clarksville, so I just dropped the rear trailer, the dolly, we took that front trailer to Nashville. So thank God that at least with there being 6 stops, that at least 2 of them, a couple of them were not too hard because I was able to just come in, drop, and stay hooked up to the front. But I got done at like 10 a.m. that morning, and I was like, well, there's no way I can go home and catch a few hours of sleep and then get up and try to. So I told my wife, I said, you know what? I was like, I'm tired as hell, but I need to get this done. This has to get done today. So I was like, I'm just gonna run over and pick up the trailer right now. When I first get off, I'm gonna go grab some gas, maybe grab a small bite to eat to give myself some energy, and maybe a coffee or a latte. Because this place called White Bison Coffee, it's in a lot of these twice daily gas stations. They have a iced vanilla latte that I get that's pretty good. Gives me a nice little boost. So I got one of those. I got a sandwich, and then I went over and got the trailer, and I came back. I get the car apparently, I guess the battery was dead enough that I could jump it, but it wouldn't stay running. So I thought it was just needed to be charged. So I ran down the street. I got the storage place set up, and then I came back and I had to call. I actually was trying to get the trailer up on the dolly, but I couldn't keep it running. So I called my friend Willow basically. And it was like, hey man, any chance you can give me a hand, because I haven't slept since yesterday. I'm trying to get the Mazda in storage. I'm struggling with it. He goes, yeah, I can help you out. I'll bring my tools in case we need to get the battery out to take it in and have them charge it or something. And, I was like, all right, cool. I appreciate that, man. So after setting up the storage place, he and I took the battery over, dropped it off at O'Reilly's, and of course, we waited an hour and then came back and basically yeah, the battery's bad. You got to get a new one right back. So ended up going to Walmart, and thankfully was able to get a fairly inexpensive battery. Same battery that I had it initially. I guess they still had that because everywhere else was quoting me $200 for a battery. I'm like, I don't have that much money on. And I was like, I've already spent $70 for the trailer. And before getting the battery, I was like, do I have to have it towed to the storage place? That was going to be $135. I was really not wanting to do that. So we ended up getting we got the car running, pulled it up on the trailer, took it down there, dropped it off. And I was still awake. I think I finally went to sleep at 2 a.m. Monday morning after being awake since 4 p.m. on Saturday. And somehow later on in the day, Sunday, I don't know how I did it, but I was thinking to myself, just kind of hanging out. I went and got my adult beverages, doing what I do when I'm off. Because I'd been trying to figure stuff out all day or whatever, so finally was chilling out. 2 a.m. Monday morning, I'm like, all right, I better go to bed, because I was surprisingly alert and awake. I was like, I don't know how I'm on my feet and upright, been awake for almost 30 hours, and yet I'm somehow so woke up the next day to both my calves cramped really bad to the point where I almost fell out of bed because it was felt like knives in your calves. Oh wow, oh crap. But yeah, so that was fun. So that goes along with the persistence, because I was like, I'm gonna figure this out. I don't want to get rid of the car. I want my kiddo to have a car once I get it fixed up or whatever. So I was working on that. The storage place even tried to call and try to tell me that we don't have storage on cars here. You need to get this out now. And I'm going, I don't have the money to get into the trailer. I don't even have a place for it to go. I made the call to go in there and try to talk to them. I talked to the guy. Basically was like, look, sir, I understand. I'm trying to fix it up. It's vandalized. That's why it looks as bad as it does. But I tried to ask him can I at least have till the end of the month? And then basically somehow, I guess because I was trying to keep calm and I'm trying to be respectful. So he, all right, yeah, I'll give you till the end of the month. Don't worry, we'll work something out. We'll work it out. Don't worry. Okay. So. Then I'm like, all right, cool. Thank you, sir. Really appreciate that. Thank you. And then he calls me the next day and says, actually, if you get a car cover for it, you can stay as long as you want. I said, all right, understood. I said, I'll order one and I'll get it on there as soon as I can. Couldn't do it this week, this paycheck, because, again, it's literally, next week's my first full check after getting home from the trip. You know how it is, you take time off and then you come back and, you have, no check, and then you have part of a check, and then you have a full check. So yeah, I got that all taken care of, so that was cool, But, let's see, so, persistence, and now I've drawn a blank. Probably, I think it was persistence and gratitude, I believe. It's the problem when you get partway into your episode, you're like, what was the topic again? So, you gotta keep just push. We gotta keep trying for the things we want. I'm always saying we only fail if we quit, give up, and walk away. And so, whether it's your job, you want to get a raise at your job, so you come in and don't call out of work and work really hard. Always show up, always be that dependable, whatever. Or if it's you want to have a business, so you gotta, or for me, some of the things I'm doing the business. Got other things I'm working on as well. I've got some book ideas in mind. I've got a book that I think I mentioned to you guys that started back in 2011, and that fell on the wayside for years. And then I recently started to pick it back up and continue working on it. Probably about halfway done, I would think. So I got that I'm going to be working on, get that eventually published, and have that as available online, where I can have that as a stream of income, and get sales from that. And the short stories for this podcast, the ones that are written, not the ones that were on the fly, even though I probably could transcribe those and have those, turn those into one too. The written stories, I'm going to have those, put those all together, and you're going to have Logic Show Podcast, Short Stories, Volume 1. So that's going to be another book that I'm going to try to get published. So that's 2 book ideas right there. And then, of course, I have other potential ideas for things I want to, book ideas I want to write. And, get a bunch, a handful of those online. Working on increasing my, because I'm told if I go through certain procedures or whatever, I can actually increase my military disability from the injury in the Air Force, So that'll be another passive income coming in that's will be higher than it is now. So that'd be cool. I'm constantly working towards making things better. Because again, and then of course I have this podcast, which I hope to eventually figure out how to do advertisements. I actually turn this podcast into an actual monetized income stream. I have no idea how to do it, but I'm kind of curious to look back at 2 or 3 years and be looking at the different incomes I've got coming in and be like, hey, I actually figured it out. It took me a while, but I got it. So, got to keep pushing forward and stuff, and even if things are really slow, you just gotta, you just gotta do it. That's the most important thing. Just keep at it, keep pushing forward with it. And even though other people might be having faster success than you, if you quit, then you're never going to get there. Everybody has to start somewhere, and we're all beginners at one point or whatever. And some people, like I said, with the online earning stage, they already have huge following. So all they have to do is do a post, and they get 10 people that come in and buy a $900 program, buy the Legacy Builder from there. I made $9,000 in 2 days. Holy crap. Yeah, but, they talk to you like you're, well, if you come and join them, you can do it too. Well, yeah, if you have a huge following. Not saying if you're a beginner like me that you shouldn't try, because you should, if that's what you want to do. If you want to, start some kind of online income stream, start a business, whatever, or just be self-employed in general, you gotta take that first step, which is starting. Not just business, but if you want to do anything, the first step, whether you have a huge huge following, a huge network you can tap into, or you're like me and you don't, you know, you're just starting at the beginning. You got to take the initial thing and start first, and then you just take the action steps. And you keep working at it. You build it, you grow it. You know, eventually you start to see the fruits of your labor. You know. So the other part, gratitude. I was recently, and I said, you know, shout out to Scott from the What Was That Like podcast. If you guys are looking for another podcast to check out, check him out on. I know he's definitely on iHeartRadio. I'm pretty sure he's on a bunch of others. I know where I found him is iHeart, but it's a pretty awesome podcast about like different situations that people have been involved in, unique situations, some of which you'd never even think about. I think one of them was the guy, you know, a guy was kind of curious, I think, to figure out or to experience what it would be like to be like cannibalistic. And so he literally ate his own foot. So that was, you know, I had trouble listening to the full thing on that one, but I still stayed in. But, you know, there's people who have been attacked by bears, plane crash survivors and stuff like that. Like, he interviews these people, and so it's like pretty like amazing, pretty amazing podcast. And so like I've sent him a few voice clips. You know, emailed him a couple times. Basically, I think I emailed him a question about one of them. Said, what happened to so and so on that such and such episode? Like, it just said he died all of a sudden. Like, what happened to him? And I think he emailed me back. I think it was a heart attack. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I had sent him another voice clip. I think when I finally caught up, because I had been binging for a while. I don't know, for like a year and a half or something. It feels like it's been that long. But finally, you realize that when you're listening to episodes, and you get to the end, and all of a sudden it just stops playing. All of a sudden, it just shows the main screen of that show, and you're like, "What happened? Like, why did it stop?" And you're like, "Oh crap! I just listened to the last available episode." Ah, man. Especially as a trucker, you know, because getting involved in a show that I really like, it makes the miles go by quicker, you know, because I could literally get on the road and just put on whatever I'm listening to. And before I know it, I'm arriving, and I have to hit pause and, you know, swap trailers, swap loads with the team, get back, you know, dispatch myself, get back on the road, hit play again, continue listening. So I had messaged him on when I got to the end, and basically was like, "Hey Scott, you know, really like," basically was talking about how I just came to the end of the available episodes of this podcast, and how I thought he was awesome, and keep doing what he's doing and whatever. And, you know, that was the interesting thing is the other day, like, technically last night when I was working, like not last night, but Friday night to Saturday morning when I was working. When I was on my way back from, you know, to Nashville from Chattanooga, I got a little ways out, probably within an hour away from Nashville. I went ahead and put on the available episode because I thought, oh, he has episodes every Friday or every other Friday. And then I think he has what they call the Tuesday questions. So him and this young lady, well, I say young, she's the same age as me, sounds like. I think 40-ish, 41, I think. She was born in 83. I was like, hey, same year as me, what do you know? But they have this Tuesday question that they have, like, it's like a 20 or 30 minute episode. They have this Tuesday question that they go back and forth, and they answer, and they talk about a couple of different things. It's pretty cool. But so I had seen that an episode of his was available. I was like, oh cool, there's a new episode. So I was listening, and I get to the end of it, and he at the end of the episode, he starts talking about like how the podcast, the show is a voicemail setup that people can call, leave a message that nobody answers, but they can leave a message, and sometimes they'll play them on the show. And he starts talking about, like, you know, it's really easy to leave a voicemail for the show and blah blah blah, and he starts playing a voice note, and I'm listening to it. I get a couple minutes into, probably like 5 minutes, I don't know, 5 minutes or so of this voice note. Listening to it, and I get a couple minutes into it, I'm thinking at first, then all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, that's me. I didn't recognize my own voice at first until a couple minutes in, and I was like, oh wait, holy crap, that's me. That's the voice note I sent him. And then of course, like, got to the end or whatever, and so I recorded a voice note that I'm gonna email him tonight, basically telling him like I got like a couple minutes into that part on his episode, and I went, holy shit, that's me. Like, I'm on his podcast. What do you know? So I was like, wow, that's cool. So I sent him a voice note basically saying, thank you, I really appreciate that. I totally did not expect or anticipate I'd ever actually hear myself on his own show, because I thought that's cool. That's really awesome of him to do. And because after playing my clip, when he got past that, he goes, and that's how easy it is to leave a voice message. I was like, that's technically, I didn't leave him a voice message. It was like a clip that I emailed him to him. But, it was like, that's pretty awesome. So, if you guys want a really cool podcast to listen to, if you haven't even started that one, then start at the beginning and binge listen, because that show is awesome. Just keep in mind, a lot of stuff has changed since it's like me. Like if you listen to the first episode back at the beginning of the Blodgett Show, it sounds a lot different than now. It's not quite as well put together, but I try to go back and update them, make them sound better and stuff. But check it out. What Was That Like is the name of the podcast. You can find them also at whatwasthatlike.com. And check it out. But one other guy that you could definitely check out, my bro Rico. I know that he's still working on getting a new episode up, but I figure I'm being supportive, because it's like a brother from another mother, so I got a little link that redirects to his podcast on my site. You go to blodgettshow.com/Rico, RICCO. That is basically about like the history of hip hop and stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Anybody that would like to support the show, go to blodgettshow.com/support. You can support the show for as little as $1 per month. I am gonna get stuff, get like merch, other stuff going for the podcast. Eventually, it's like right now, I'm trying to just keep my head in the game and keep doing what I'm doing and not quit. Keep working on the business, keep working on the other stuff, keep working on the podcast. Just keep showing up and putting in the effort. For anybody who wants to learn more about, how to grow your following, how to start trying to earn online, all that fun stuff. Basically, the digital marketing space, how to start learning how to do that. Free information, the information doesn't cost you anything. Go check it out. blodgettshow.com/freedom. Put your email in there and reply back to my email with any questions you might have. And just check it out. You'll see it'll direct you to like a short video. And then if it's something that you decide you want to do, just click I'm ready and go to that main page. They've got anywhere from the $900 legacy down to the $100 Launchpad program and stuff. But I'm gonna have other digital products available pretty soon, probably next week, because I'm trying to expand and try to pivot a little bit, do other stuff as well to try to add even more possible future income streams and whatnot. It's all about if you have something that works, keep at it, and if you have stuff that it's not quite doing what you want to do, you pivot a little bit, change some stuff, and try to at least you try to figure out what works. You keep trying until you get there, versus well, it's not working, so I quit, then you're never gonna go anywhere. But so again, that's blodgettshow.com/freedom. Check it out. Aside from that, anybody who wants to has any questions or comments or concerns, or if you want to any suggestions for a Storytime Friday, story episode, drop me an email at logicshowpodcast@gmail.com. And that's for like not just stories, but if you have an idea for like a topic for real talk that we can talk about, feel free to drop me a line. But on that note, I hope everybody has had a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. Probably going to be real talk. Depends on if I get a story out, but at least I will see you guys on Tuesday for the next Real Talk Tuesday. You guys have a good one.